Hey guys, um, here with another video for you. This time we're going to talk about perspective, but in context of a space. So far we've been doing boxes, all right? So now we're going to deal with an actual, like a room with objects in it, okay? Because we're leading up to eventually drawing a space like an existing space in perspective. So we've got boxes down. You guys kind of now understand the basic differences between 1, 2, and 3-point perspective. Now we just want to take it to the next level. Okay. So we're going to start with 1-point perspective. So the first thing we're going to do, like we always do, is we're going to establish our vanishing point in our horizon line, which again is equal to our eye level. So because we're just kind of making this room up, we can go ahead and just put this like in the middle to make it easy. So we're going to draw our horizon line, and then I'm just going to put the vanishing point kind of in the middle. It can be to the left or to the right if you want it to be, but we'll just keep it simple. Now we're going to draw a rectangle, and that rectangle is going to be surrounding the horizon line and the vanishing point. The size of the rectangle matters. All right, the smaller you draw it, that's going to mean that the further away the opposite wall is going to be. The bigger you make it, the closer it is. So you don't want to make it too big or too small. Somewhere in the middle. So, something like what I'm doing here. Hopefully you guys can see that. If you do a more rectangular shaped, like longer than it is tall, then your room is going to be shaped that way. So this initial square or rectangle is going to dictate a lot. So you need to make sure that when you draw it, you're paying attention. Again, if this was really big, you wouldn't. You want to leave space. I guess what I'm saying is for like walls and a floor. You want to be able to put some things in here. So keep it about that size. You can go a little smaller with it if you want to. Okay. So this is how we're starting out: horizon line, vanishing point, and then a square or rectangle kind of around, surrounding the vanishing point. So that, this is almost centered in the square. I mean, this one's a little off, but that's okay. Okay, now you're going to draw diagonal lines from that vanishing point through the four corners of your square, your rectangle. All right, now here is a common mistake that some people make. They look at this and they assume that they can just draw any random diagonal lines from the corners. They'll just, kind of, do this or this. And they don't think about making sure that they're lining things up with the vanishing point. You have to line this up. So it's not just any random diagonal lines, all right? And it's not diagonal lines to the corner of the paper. Like right here, on the bottom corner, you can see that it just happens coincidentally to go to the corner of the paper. But you see here, they're not all like that. That's because I'm going from the vanishing point to the corners, okay? So it's not drawing diagonals to the corners of the paper. It's not just drawing them willy-nilly. You have to go from that vanishing point. Okay? Now, at this point, hopefully you can see now, we have 1, 2, 3 walls. We have a floor. And we have a ceiling. Okay? So now we want to start populating our room with objects. And I'm going to give you guys a list of some objects that I want you to include. Now, when you draw your rooms, you don't have to do it the same way I am. You can put the objects in different locations if you want to. All right? But I'm just going to kind of do it this way, and you guys can kind of figure it out. As long as it has these elements in it, it doesn't matter where they are in the room. So the first thing we're going to do is a doorway. You can have more than one doorway if you want to. All right? So whichever wall you want to put it on, it's up to you. I'm going to put it over here on the left. So I'm going to line up my straight edge to my vanishing point. I want to put it back here towards the wall. And I'm just going to draw a diagonal line up there towards the top of the wall. And then I'm going to draw 2 vertical lines plumb with these other lines. And I'm going to draw them from the ends of that diagonal down. And there's my basic doorway. I don't want to go too wide with it, because remember, the further away things are, the smaller they appear. So you want this doorway to look sort of squished or compressed, or whatever word you want to use. Okay? And I'm just going to, add a door frame. Details are important in a perspective drawing because they help to give a sense of scale to objects, and it just also helps them look more authentic. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a few little segments to make the doorway look like it is recessed into the wall. Okay. Now, you can draw some little details, like some paneling. You guys have all seen, I'm sure the doors in your house have these kind of decorative recessed panels in them. So, again, all these diagonals that I'm drawing need to go to the vanishing point. They're not just random diagonals. Connect them with some vertical lines. These are a little longer. I'm looking over at the doorway here to my studio, and I'm looking at some details here. This is about even with the horizon line. Okay. Now I've got a bit of a space there between, and that's where the doorknob is. Now I'm going to draw a couple more diagonals. Down here. A couple more vertical lines. And there you go. And there is my doorknob. Okay? And you have to do a little bit of erasing. Now, each of these has a square, like a rectangle within it. So you'll have to just, line up your straight edge each time. Some of these details, you can leave for later. I'm just kind of finishing them up now. Use a straight edge for this. I'm just going to kind of really quickly connect these edges, because I can make them look fairly straight, but be careful when you're freehanding details in a perspective drawing, because they really tend to stick out. And you get the gist of that. Okay. So, you know, finish out the details and then move on to the next thing. All right, next thing I'm going to do is a hallway, which is similar to a doorway, except it's going to be a little bit wider. So I'm going to once again draw a diagonal line from my vanishing point towards the top of the wall, come down with, connect it to the floor with 2 vertical lines, like so. Now I'm going to add 2 horizontal lines from this corner and this corner. Here and here. And now I can kind of erase this line. And now I have made a hallway going off to this direction. All right, pretty easy. All right. Next thing I'm going to do is show you how to do like ceiling and floor tiles. Okay. These are good details to have. So along the bottom edge of this back wall here, I'm going to just evenly space some dots. It doesn't really matter how many you have, just so long as they are pretty evenly spaced. All right, now I didn't measure that with a ruler. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I'd say that that's pretty evenly spaced. Now, I mean, if you want to measure it and space it out with a ruler, you are more than welcome to, if you have trouble. Okay, now from the vanishing point, I'm going to draw diagonal lines through each of these dots. Or at least get as close as I can. I was a smidge off on that one, but oh well. That one's going to be pretty much a straight vertical line because it's directly beneath the vanishing point. And for a good measure, because I want the tiles to continue into the hallway, I'm going to add another dot about there, and then another one about there. So honestly, I could have kind of kept that diagonal there that I erased before, but oh well. There we go. Okay. So right now they kind of look like almost like floorboards. And if you want to add more, you can go in between each one of these and add another dot if you want to, and do more diagonals. It's up to you. Okay. Now we want to do the lines going horizontally. And you want them staggered so that the further away you get, the closer together they appear to be. So the trick to that is you're just going to pick either corner, doesn't matter which, and you're going to very faintly draw a diagonal line from that diagonal, from that corner rather, to the opposite corner, like so. And everywhere this diagonal intersects, you're going to draw a horizontal line going through that intersection point. So there. That one's maybe a smidge crooked there. That's okay. When you do yours, just make sure it's straight. All right, but you see how I'm doing that? Every intersection point, you draw a horizontal line. Go through there, through there. And eventually what you'll start seeing is that you'll get these horizontal lines And they are gradually getting further and further apart the closer together they get. Like so. Okay. Now, again, if you feel like you need more of these, then just in between each of these lines, add another segment, find the midpoint there, and draw more of them. Same here, if you find you need more. This is just sort of to get you started, okay? And you can do the same thing with if you want ceiling tiles, right? But let's say you want less of them. Then I'll just do less dots up top. Like so. I'll only do 3 dots. But actually, let me center that a little bit better. Like that. Okay. Same deal. Go from corner to corner, doesn't matter which one. Then you'll have one there, one there, and one there. And if you want to differentiate them, you can double them up. You can go in here and add another segment in between each one, and that'll maybe make them look a little visually different from the floor tiles. Okay. All right, so the room is starting to take shape. Whoops. We've got some details starting to happen, but we want to do more. To do a window or a picture on the wall, you will, once again, from the vanishing point, draw a diagonal up there towards the top. Decide how big you want your window to be. I'll have it come down to about there. Connect with 2 verticals. Okay. Then you can draw, window panes. Like so. Okay. Draw some kind of a frame around the window. You can add curtains, blinds, whatever other details you want. Okay? If you were doing a picture on the wall, it would be done the same way. Okay? A window on this opposite wall. Let's do a picture on this opposite wall. This one's pretty easy. You're not having to worry about the vanishing points on this because you're looking straight ahead at it. So literally you can just draw lines, vertical and horizontal lines that are parallel with the other ones on that wall, and you will be fine. Okay? Now here comes the challenging part. Drawing objects. Now, this isn't anything that you can't handle because not only have you been drawing boxes, you have been drawing structure drawing. And all perspective drawing is just basically drawing boxes and then turning them into other things, just like structure drawing. Okay? So, and by the way, with this picture, put anything you want in there, like, Decorate it however you want. Like so. Okay. So let's do a really simple kind of like either like a love seat or a chair, that kind of a thing. Okay. Now we have these floor tiles down here, and the advantage of doing that is that you can use these almost like a perspective grid, and you can measure off from the grid. If your lines don't quite add up the way you want it to, you can just add more lines, more dots in between. So I'm going to go from like this dot here to this dot here, and I'm going to make a box, and then I'm going to convert that box into like a couch or something. Okay. So you want to start from the bottom and work your way up, kind of like a structure drawing. So follow these grid lines if you want to. And I'm just going to draw 2 horizontal lines coming out from the wall. And then for the front of the box, I'm just going to line that up with my vanishing point, like so. And then I'm going to go in and erase the lines inside, like this. Okay. Now I'm going to build up from the corners. And this is how you can tell that your object is going to be right along the back wall, because you don't want it going into the wall or coming out from it. You want it to be kind of lined up with the back of the wall. That line I'm not happy with. It's a little leaning back a little too far. That's better. Okay, now we're going to line up the top with our vanishing point once again. There we go. Now, what you can do, since I kind of already know that a couch is kind of L-shaped, I mean, you can draw the whole box. Like you can literally draw this, come out from the corners, then connect with a diagonal, right? Or you could have just drawn an L-shaped box. So it's up to you. Doing this just means a little more erasing, but that's okay. All right, so now, like a structure drawing, we're going to draw the shape we want in the front plane, and then draw through to the back of the box. So a couch is kind of like L-shaped, so we want to do this kind of a thing, like so. And at each of these corners, we're going to connect to the vanishing point. Like so. And then from back here, we'll draw another line on the other side. Now we can erase all of these lines here that we no longer need. And you might have to touch up a little bit. You can actually keep most of this stuff. I'll bring this line in just a tad. Erase, erase. And we are left with our super basic, it almost looks more like a futon. So we want to add some more details to this to make it look a little nicer. I mean, you could leave it this way. It looks kind of like an IKEA, very modern, minimalist kind of a futon, but it doesn't look very comfortable to sit on because you've got all these sharp corners. So, you know, I would look at real furniture and, you know, like let's add some arms to this. Let's extend this up a little bit. Extend to our vanishing point there. Draw another line there. Can erase this. Let's add a segment there and a segment about there. Draw another one there, another one there, and here. Erase a little bit more. Now we can round out these corners a bit. Like so. Go ahead and come straight down from here. Let's add a couple of lines here to show like the cushions and other details. We'll draw the little valance here at the bottom. Continue that on the front. Draw a couple of cushion lines there. And you know, you just keep adding details. Like up here, I would, on these sharp corners, round them out a little bit. So it looks a little more realistic. Again, round out those edges. Straighten up your lines. And, you know, pretty soon, without too much work, you've got a somewhat realistic looking couch. You know, you can add more segments to the back of the couch if you want. Okay, so there you go. It's not, I could finesse that more, but I don't want this video to be 5 hours long. So that's how you make a couch. Now let's do it like a coffee table. Okay, again, using our tiles, and let's kind of square this up with the couch. All right, so that's our box. Let's erase. Again, go up from the four corners with vertical lines to get the height. Remember, it's a coffee table. You don't want it to be too high. It should be fairly low. Draw the top of your box. Remember, the diagonals have to go to the vanishing point, like there. And there. Go ahead and erase these lines and just start drawing some details. You want the table to have some thickness to it. Draw a couple of lines going that way. You want to draw legs to the table. I mean, you can draw like a really rudimentary kind of straight lines, but I kind of like to put a little detail in there to make it look, like some little curved kind of buttress shapes, side braces. Like so. Okay. There's your coffee table. Maybe you've got a book on there. Again, remember the diagonals have to go to the vanishing points. Got a little coffee table. Maybe there's remember your structure drawing, draw your ellipse. Maybe you've got your mug or something on the table as well. Okay. Let's do a bookcase over here on this wall. We're going to do a tall bookcase. Remember, start from the floor, go up. Gonna make this kind of thinner, like so. Make the top recede to the vanishing point, like that. Come out from the wall just a bit, not too much, like only to about there is fine. Go straight up from those corners. Now here's the important thing to keep in mind. Up here, we are above the horizon line, so you are not going to see the top of the bookcase. It's going to be angled down like this, and you will see the bottom of the inside like this. See that? You're seeing the inside of it, the bottom of the inside. Now you, of course, want to give this some thickness to it. So double up on your lines on the edges here. Make sure it's lined up with the vanishing point. Whoops, that was a little crooked, wasn't it? That's better. Okay. And now you need to put shelves on the bookshelf. So you want to line up your straight edge with the vanishing point, have a shelf there, 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 and maybe there. Again, double up on your lines. Again, make sure that you are going to the vanishing point with these. And you'll see that there are some shelves that are above and some are below your horizon line. So for these shelves up here, you are going to see the bottom of those shelves. Right? So this shelf here that's above the horizon line, You'll come straight across with a horizontal line, and then the underside will come to the vanishing point, and see that's the underside of that shelf, just like this is the underside of the top of the bookcase. Okay. Then this one, you're going to see maybe a little sliver of the bottom, but it's almost level with the horizon line, so it's almost going to appear straight. Now down here, where it's beneath the horizon line, now you will see the shelves, the top of the shelves. Straight across with a horizontal line. Okay. There we go. Like so. So we go from seeing the underside of the shelves to the top of the shelves. Okay. Actually going to shore up that line a little bit more. That's a little better. Okay. Now, of course, you can add books or whatever. Like if you want to do like a row of books, draw it like a box. Like literally have it come out to about there and then go down. And then you just draw vertical lines. And you don't have to draw them evenly spaced because you know how everybody has books that are different sizes on their bookshelves. Okay? Maybe this shelf has a few books on it, and then it stops about there. And then becomes a straight horizontal, and that's like the front of a book. And then there's something else, like maybe there's like a little vase or something. A little sliver of a vase. And you know, you can draw little details on the spine if you want to. Okay, and you just keep drawing more objects. And again, they don't have to all be books. Like you could draw little trophies or little tchotchkes or whatever on these other shelves. Okay, so that's your bookcase. You can draw another picture on the wall here. Going straight across. That doesn't seem quite level with that line. Okay. All right, so let's do like a chair or something over here, or a higher table. All right. If you're doing something along the back wall, this is kind of important. Come out from the bottom. This is the most important step always, because you won't know how far out you are from the wall unless you start from the bottom. So if I'm going to do a table that's about, let's do it like about a tile and a half wide. I'll draw my square, come up from the corners. Now here, my lines are almost on top of each other. Draw the front of the table. Now to do the sides, I'm going to that vanishing point, even though I'm on the far wall. Now this this line is pretty much a vertical line because I'm right underneath the vanishing point. So the two legs, the two right legs of this table are going to be like almost right behind each other. Okay. Draw more details. Like so. And there we go. Let's say that this is maybe like a desk. let's extend this out here. And I'm going to draw a couple of drawers. So we went from being a table to being like a computer desk. And I can put, you know, let's put a flat screen monitor up there. Maybe it's a small TV, who knows. Maybe there's an old-fashioned computer workstation here. Maybe they have a workstation and a laptop. Make sure the top of that recedes to the vanishing point. Like so. Maybe you want to just slightly raise the back of that so that the corner matches. Okay. Maybe you can do a chair that goes along with it. Maybe we have another end table here. So again, from the bottom, we'll make this come up from each corner. Let's go to this one here. Or maybe it's just a, I don't know, entertainment center or something. Make sure those diagonals go to the vanishing point, like so. Like so. Draw some other little details on that. Maybe draw a couple of doors if it's a cabinet. Okay, so apologize for not time-lapsing this, but all right, you see how pretty soon, just by drawing boxes and things, you've got a room starting to take shape. I can put another picture up above the couch, or maybe it's another window. Windows and doorways and stuff are you're like the easiest things to do. So I don't really count those as objects per se. Like, so if you're gonna do a room, and I'm gonna say you gotta have at least 5 objects in that room, don't draw like 5 pictures on the wall. That's not gonna count. Those are separate things. Objects are 3-dimensional things like couches and tables and, you know, things of that nature. So yeah, and again, your room doesn't. In fact, I would say I don't want to see you guys drawing the same room that I just did. Like, change it up. Put the objects in different spots. All right, I'm going to draw a little molding here at the top of the ceiling. And here on the floor. So yeah, that's pretty much it for a 1-point room. I will also show you how to do a 2-point room and show you the differences in that. But basically, you're going to design this room yourself. That's what I would like to see. So be creative and have fun with it. And you can base it off a real room. Like if you want to draw like your bedroom in 1-point perspective, go for it. Or something like that. Totally up to you. Or if you just want to make it up like I did here, that's fine as well. So yeah, on the website, I'm going to actually make a list of the objects that I want to see included in your rooms. And we'll go from there. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to kind of finish this up off camera. And you'll also see me demo this live. So you'll have the chance to see it multiple times. All right, guys. Thanks. That's it.